All right. Wow. We've got a massive combat update on our hands here. I did not think it was happening this soon. I was speaking with Jeb a couple weeks ago at E3 when I was trying out Minecraft Dungeons, and he briefly mentioned, he was like, oh, I'm thinking about maybe turning the combat system in Minecraft into an auto click and hold as part of it. But I thought, oh, maybe he's just playing around with the idea. Didn't realize it was basically ready to go. I mean, it's still early. It's very alpha. It's not even a snapshot that's available in the launcher. You have to go to the Reddit thread that I'll link in the description and then manually add the jar to your versions folder and then create an instance in the launcher. But still, it's playable. You can try it out and you'll notice no sound. You don't hear the mouse clicks you would have heard in the past. It's just I'm holding left click. Anyway, that's one major part, but let's get into what's going on here. Obviously, there has long since the 1.9 update been a lot of comments about, the whole PvP cooldown. So it seems like this is now being addressed for, I don't know if it'll be 1.15 or 1.14 hotfix, exactly what it's going to be. But let's check out what we got here. All right, most notable, press and hold. Let me just deploy a pillager here and he's gone. This is the one thing I've gotten in testing this before starting the video. It's very powerful when you press and hold. Like, just done. It just demolishes everything in its path immediately. Here, let's just bring out a couple of these guys. If I can keep hitting the button here and then just take care of them. No problem. They're just done. Press and hold auto click. Now, the other thing to note with this, though, is that the cooldown, it's hard to call it a cooldown at this point because the way it works is that you can't actually attack in between cooldown anymore. So when I spam click here, it's only actually attacking once the sword is fully regened. But the regen happens so quickly now that you almost don't notice the difference. Because in the past, there would always be slight amounts of invulnerability on the mob in between your attacks. And now, you've come to witness this. You're like, revenge. Look, you're able to just take these guys out instantly now. So you can only attack once the sword is fully regened, but that regen happens so quick that you can basically spam click, but also the click and hold just works so well that there's almost no reason to not do that because it will just attack the instant the sword or whatever tool you have in your hand is ready to do the next attack. So I haven't quite figured out why there would be any reason not to do the click and hold, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It just seems like a good way to do it. Now, furthermore, and this is where things just get OP as heck, you can attack with a shield deployed now. Now, in the past, you would right click with your shield out, right? And it would deploy it. And so let's bring out a pillager here. Okay, so I have my shield deployed, but I'd have to choose, okay, I'm gonna do that, deflect the arrow into him. Get wrecked, bud. But I can't, I'm left clicking right now, I can't attack while I'm right clicking with the shield because I'm holding right click. And therefore I'm occupied. And then I'd have to drop that, and then I'd left click and be able to do the attacks. Well, now what we have is if I shift, my shield is deployed, but now my right click, my mouse isn't encumbered. So I can left click with my shield deployed. If you want to see how OP this gets, let's deploy a Ravager and wait for him to attack us, but I can deploy my shield. But I can also be clicking, I'm auto clicking as my shield is deployed. And so I'm basically invulnerable. So, I'm not sure if that's the intention, but wow, that's effective. Now, obviously, I'm not on a server to do PvP. I don't even know that you can be on a server because it didn't look like there was server software released in the Reddit thread to go along with this. Maybe I'm mistaken. But the only way to get through a shield is to actually do a crit attack. So the thing is, crits have been slightly changed. So you'll notice, let me deploy a Ravager. It's easier if we do this in creative here. Now you'll notice when I spam click, I'm not getting any crits, even if I jump, right? So you didn't notice any of the crit particles there. That's because the way that crits now work is that you have to regen your sword to 200%. There's like an additional stage of the attack cooldown. And at that point, then you can jump and get the crits. Let's get... It's on the other side of the glass, and he's like, I'm done with this, dude. You're too powerful now. So you'll notice, see there's that little plus that shows below? I believe that that indicates now you'll actually be able to get crits if you do the attack. So you have to wait a little bit longer, and I presume in its current implementation, if you were in a PvP match and someone else had the sword, you guys would have to wait, let your sword get to 200%, and then you would be able to do jump attacks, which would actually cut through the shield. But otherwise, you're basically just like ping-ponging each other a little bit, not doing much damage until your shields are completely used up. So, I mean, but in PvE, this against mobs, I mean, just deploy a bunch of these dudes. And unless you're completely surrounded, it's just like, you can just press hold and demolish everybody. No damage taken. No damage taken. It's wild. Not a single heart off of 3 pillagers. We'll do a little compare contrast in just a moment, like go against Ravager here, go against it in just regular 1.14, just so you can see back to back. But I mean, it's wild. Another change though, you might have seen when I was fighting multiple dudes there, that I'm not doing any splash damage, which would have happened in the past, right? So in the past, I would have been able to be doing damage to all these guys at once, but now it's just confined to one at a time. So the only way you do splash damage now is if you actually have Sweeping Edge on a sword. So we'll do this here. And now I can just do Sweeping Edge like this. So there we go. Now the other thing to note though is that Sweeping Edge is treated like a crit hit. So the only way that Sweeping Edge is going to happen is if you wait for that plus. So it's a bit of an extra cooldown. So you can't do auto-click if you want Sweeping Edge to happen. So if you're at, say, an Enderman farm or something like that, or a Guardian farm, and you need to have that Sweeping Edge, you're going to have to manually click. Otherwise, you're just going to be targeting one at a time, which you probably don't want. But when it comes to just 1v1 PvE, PvP, auto-click is strong. It might need some tweaking, just a little bit, but it's very strong. Furthermore, you've got a slight change in range here. So you'll notice it's now 3.5 blocks I can actually hit from, when in the past, I don't know, what was it, like 2 blocks? But if we go back and contrast that with 1.14, normal 1.14, I would not be able to hit from where this stone block is located here. I would have to stand closer in order to do hits on this guy. Anyway, those are sort of the main highlights. Now let's do some quick compare contrast between versions. So we'll start off with the new combat, and I'll just fight a Ravager, and then we'll compare that to 1.14, what's publicly available right now. So let's take out the Ravager, and here we go. And why is a Wandering Trader spawned next to me? And done. Hi. Fancy seeing you here. Cool. Now let's try it in 1.14. Now, I actually don't even know if I'm going to be able to do this without dying here. So this is going to be interesting. I might actually not be able to do this. Please. Oh, no. This is bad. This is bad. Oh, I'm going to have to really use my shield well. Okay, please. Okay, we got this. Oh, no. It's bad. It's bad. Please, please. Shield. No! So as you can tell, it's significantly easier in the new combat update to fight a Ravager. Now back in the new combat update, once again, increased range. You're able to hit from 3.5 blocks away, which you couldn't do previously. And to contrast with regular 1.14, swing and a miss. Can't hit from this far away, so we have to go closer by 1 block, and then I'll be able to do some hits. So, a lot longer range. Back in the new combat update now, those are the main, most striking back-to-back comparisons, but it's like, man, I could just go up against Ravagers all day long now. Ain't no thing, dude. Come at me. When I died before. I'm sure that there would have been a way that I could have done that without dying, but it does illustrate the point of just how much easier it is now. If I had to give feedback on this, though, I would say that the auto-clicking, it seems, I don't know, a bit OP, but also I think that it gets rid of a bit of possible skill gap when it comes to actual PvP stuff, like Hunger Games, in that, like, the people who are really good at being able to spam click super fast, we're talking like 1.89 here, they kind of get punished in this, and they get put on a more even playing field with people who haven't been as practiced. So maybe if there were some way to like keep the auto click, but punish it a little, or buff the people who still want to manually click with a slightly higher attack damage or something like that. That's just a concern, is that it is so easy to auto click things down. And in PvE, it kind of gets rid of a lot of challenge. And I don't know if maybe there's some way to nerf the shield. I hate saying nerf the shield because, I mean, it's great being able to feel so powerful, but I do almost feel like it's a bit easy. But again, this is super alpha, and I'm sure feedback is going to be taken into account and changes are going to be made. So that's just what I would say from the get-go. But it will also be interesting to see what happens to other weapons like axes. Jeb made mention of hose getting an extended attack range in the post. So I don't know if that means hose are going to actually have a use coming soon here, but we'll have to see about that. Anyway, that's an outline of just what's here. We'll see how it goes. I'll do more videos on future updates as the combat evolves. And it's interesting, though. I'm very happy because I know a lot of people, myself included, haven't been completely content with the PvP cooldown and everything from 1.9 to 1.14 so far. So to have a change on the horizon is welcome, for sure. So anyway, we'll wind it down there. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Make sure to like if you liked, subscribe to stay tuned for more combat and other videos, things like that. And we'll leave it off there. I'll catch you next time. Link in the description if you want to try the snapshot for yourself.